A lot of this is regulatorily required language, but
Okay.
yes, we put it together.
Okay, so who's regulating what's in it?
The Environmental Protection Agency.
Okay, the EPA. I just wanted to come here today to gain some information. In this flyer, it says that radioactive materials may be present in our source water due to oil, gas, and mining activities. That's not okay. I don't know why it would be in a consumer confidence report. If we know that these drilling and mining and fracking cause these issues, I had called and talked to Brad to find out what's being done to stop these kinds of things. And he essentially said no, and he said that the person I need to talk to was Bud. So I just came here today to say that I think that's not okay. I don't think there should be any clause in any type of report that says it's okay that my water is radioactive because of oil, mining, and gas activities. I think that's completely out of line. The second issue I'm here today to talk about is fluoride. Does the Cheyenne City Board of Public Utilities have a medical license?
No, we do not.
Okay. Fluoride is a neurotoxin. It is a drug. It is regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. I am my own doctor. If I don't like what my doctor prescribes to me, I can go get another doctor. What is being put in the water now is a one pill for everybody. It fits everybody. Okay, that's not the way that our medical world works these days. Basically, I see it as an extreme violation of my personal rights, and I want to address the situation with you folks to find out if there is anybody that's attacking this issue. We've been doing it for 60 years. There's ample amount of scientific information to support that it does not promote healthy teeth. It actually does the opposite. It lowers the IQ in children. The list goes on, and I'm going to continue to come through meetings and present as much information as I can to you folks, because Brad told me that Bud was fighting the fight, and when I talked to Bud said he thinks that it's perfectly fine. And I respectfully said, I hope that in time you come to change your mind. I have not a whole lot of information on the subject right now, but I'm going to be printing it all. There's studies out of Harvard, India, China, the Canadian Institute of Health, tons of information. Is anybody even here aware of what fluoride is? Bud, you told me our fluoride that we are adding to our water supply at 3.8 pounds per million comes from Florida in a mine. That is not correct. Fluoride is not mined. If it is, I would like to know where it's come from, who signed the order. To the best of my knowledge, and everybody can try to disapprove this, fluoride is not mined. It is extracted through the pollution that comes out of the phosphorus mining industry. It is toxic waste that we're putting in our water. So somewhere down the line, somebody said, let's turn this liability into an asset. Let's make everybody think it's good. So I guess I just wanted to let you guys know that and find out if there's been anybody else that's come in here to talk about this, or am I the first one? You told me in 1975 the Academy of Science, the National Dental Association came to Cheyenne before the board, is that correct?
Yeah. And I
Was it the state?
It was actually the Chamber of Commerce that came to the board and requested. I've got this president. In December of 1978, there was a letter received, Board of Directors, Greater Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce, acting upon a recommendation made by the Professional Services Committee of the Chamber, would like to recommend to your board that you give consideration to fluoridation for Cheyenne's water supply. And so
That's the kind of information that I'm trying to find.
Yeah.
To me, it's completely unacceptable. You know, if there's anybody that would like to re-examine this, I don't know how it's done. I don't know. I'm just one guy. But it is toxic waste. It is a drug that's being administered to me and my family without my consent. You guys don't put vitamin A or vitamin B or vitamin D in the water. Why are we putting fluoride in the water? Also, fluoride helps topically. Okay? It does nothing for you when you ingest it, other than all the other side effects that are being found. So I guess, is there anybody that's looked into this? Who do I need to go before the Chamber of Commerce? If so, I need some of you to support me. I guess the main question I had was if you guys have a license to be my doctor.
Well, my comment is that fluoridation in the water has been controversial for 60 years.
Very, very long time.
There's certain people on one side of the issue, and I would say a good deal of the water utilities in the country have adopted it. And this board is one of them. We're certainly aware that we do put a certain amount of that into our water. The group that would be best able to analyze it would be our staff. I don't know how much of a priority that would be based on their knowledge of it and their certainty of the efficacy of the use, or if they feel at some point it would be something they'd want to look at. But this board would be in a position to, and we're the ones who do it, based on analysis and considered thought given over the years. And it is controversial, so there's always been discussions throughout the country on this.
There's people in the EPA and the people that are actually setting the rules and regulations. There's people inside of those organizations that speak out.
Let me finish. Certainly, you're not telling us anything new. We're aware of this controversy. It's been looked at over the decades by this board, and I'm sure will continue to be. Your information is good.
It's nothing new.
We're glad to hear from both sides of the argument, and that's my thoughts.
The comment that he made about mining activity and that type of thing, is that just a general category from the EPA that appears in that report? Or is that some?
Yes, Mr. President, it's a general comment from the Consumer Confidence Rule. It's in a general sense insofar as if you detect radionuclides in your water, where are they going to come from? In general, they would come from, can be naturally occurring or be the result of oil and gas production and mining activities. We do have trace elements of gross alpha, which is radionuclides, which is a gross alpha. It's 1.6 plus or minus 1.2 picocuries per liter in round top, and 0.6 plus or minus 0.26 picocuries per liter from the Flouride source, and then also radium-226, 228, and uranium. And the radium-226 and 228 would be from the groundwater source, not the surface water source. And then the uranium is 1.7 plus or minus 1.0 parts per billion. And we do say in the likely source of comments, we say gross alpha is the erosion of natural deposits. Radium-226, 228 is erosion of natural deposits. And uranium is naturally present in the environment. But in the text of the report, we do say in section 6, we talk about the sources of drinking water, both tap water and bottled water, include rivers, streams, lakes, reservoirs, and ponds. And then contaminants may be present in source water, which include, and it goes A through E, and to give general information in the hope that people will find out about their water source and find out what it is that it would be causing any contaminant that might show up in the report. So it's a general, about the rule, and the rule is very specific that you know, you need to put X, Y, and Z. General throughout the industry is, here's water and here's your sources. But it does say, bottom line is, you need to get a hold of your water purveyor and find out. And also gives you information at the Safe Drinking Water Act hotline. You can go straight to EPA and follow up.
So,
Mr. President, so if Mr. Dory was to call and ask what the source of our radionuclides in our water, basically the report says that it's all from natural occurring instances relative to the Cheyenne facility, and the statements that are as part of the document are ones basically that are generic that have to be in the document.
Correct.
Mr. President, I recall asking you about a couple of years ago at a board meeting about fluoridation, getting quite a bit of information. So the one thing that stuck was that fluoride is a naturally occurring element, and to some extent it's present in the water as received at the treatment plant. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that at some points that level meets your standard level to which you would want fluoride, and so you don't supplement. But at other points you do need to supplement. So the practice is sometimes yes, sometimes no. Is that correct?
Yes, and historically it was more where we supplemented more. Now we bring in a natural fluoride residual in our raw surface water and a little bit of groundwater, about 0.4 parts per million, I'm sorry. And we supplement that to 0.7 to 0.8 parts per million. 0.7 parts per million is what the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and the American Dental Association have identified as a treatment for dental caries in the general public. And so that is the value that we try to maintain, 0.7 or 0.8. Because my understanding is less than 0.7 is not effective. It's there, but it's not effective. So we try to maintain that 0.7 or 0.8.
But isn't that a reduced number from a couple of years ago?
Correct. Formerly, the Center for Disease Control, American Dental Association identified for the Cheyenne region a dose of about between 1 and 1.1. And there was new information was released a couple of years ago, and so we then, when they came out with the 0.7, we immediately reduced our dosage to 0.7 parts per million.
And could you estimate how often you have to supplement versus how often?
We do, if the system's running, we do supplement full time now. It was more or less when Round Top was online, we shut it off because North Crow water has a relatively high, 1 point some part per million system. So but we're not treating the North Crow supply anymore. Straight from Crystal.
Thanks, Chair.
Sir, the hour is getting a little.
Yeah, I know.
What would you like us to do, knowing what we've said today in this meeting?
I'd like, I wanted to know who approved it, the actual paperwork that he has. I wanted to know if you say the fluoride that we're producing or putting in the water supply is natural. I have yet to see any type of proof of that. It's my understanding that it is coming out of the smokestacks of phosphorus plants. Out of Florida, so that much is correct. But I would just like you guys to re-examine it. I mean, this is our water. You can't take fluoride out of water. You can only do it to 98.5%. It's there forever. So I just want you guys to re-examine it. You know, you're not doctors. We're a water company. Are there any other ingredients put in the water for our benefit as a nutrient? No.
Mr. President, I'm not sure fluoride is put in as a nutrient.
It is not a nutrient. That is correct. So it's not essential.
A reasonable request as time allows in the future to look at what the most recent knowledge is about fluoride?
Mr. President, certainly, I think it's a reasonable request. It will take some time and effort.
Yes.
Again, I think a key component of this, again, which I would encourage Jeremy to approach, would be the dental association.
They're not.
It's in the area. You know, not that you have or you haven't, but that, they're gonna be a key component, I think, of that.
They don't own your guys' company.
Well, we understand, but they'll give you their justifications as to why it should be in there. And I just think that that's part of that decision that went into it back in 1978.
Yes. So we'll be back in touch with you then.
Okay, so I'll receive a phone call from somebody, or
I'm not sure it's a phone call or some written documentation
something, anything.
Mr. President, may I ask a question for the record? Mr. Hathaway and Mr. Doherty, you indicated Sunrise Engineering as your organization?
No.
Okay.
No.
You put little tick marks under
Oh,
Sunrise, so-
for my name. I'm here to represent myself.
All right.
Sorry about that.
I'm gonna mark you as citizen then.
The main reason I came here to bring up Part A with the oil mining and gas activities is because this is also in the time where fracking companies are telling us they don't have to disclose what they're putting in the ground. So it seems kind of coincidental to me that right after I hear that on the news, I get a disclaimer from you guys saying it's okay. You know, that's just want you guys to look at everything, because it is our children's water. I am a father, and my son will have to grow up with the effects of the decisions that you guys are making.
But thank you, we will be back in touch.
Okay, if not, I'll be here every month.